It depends on the structure of your business. So there are exceptions to the rule. If you want to run a coaching business and you want 10 clients at $10,000 a year, you need a cell phone and a merchant account. Really, you're set. And to some extent, if you have a calendar and you have consistency in calling. So you may want to set up a plan of attack for phoning people and texting people. So in that case, your calendar or your habits become automated because you know on Tuesday at 2:00, that's when you do the thing, right? So it's that idea of the more you can get familiarized with the things that are repetitive in your company, the more powerful it becomes. So to exemplify this, once you know that something works, being able to create a process that makes that repeatable, whether you're doing it, somebody else is doing it, or a computer is doing it, makes your business scalable to the point of making $1 million. And as I was discussing with my podcast guest, that's the exact same thing that makes business scalable and sellable in the billions of dollars.
So for all you entrepreneurs out there, I have a real treat for you. I have the founder of Awareness Strategies, which I think is like the best name for a company. And it is a digital marketing agency that specializes in automation. It helps you find more of your ideal clients, turn them into raving fans so that you can spend time doing what you love. And who in the business world doesn't want more of that? So I want to welcome to the show, Michelle Nedelec.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Like I said, I'm super excited to have you because even like what I had mentioned, before, like when we were just talking off the show, I think I'm your ideal customer. But first, I just want to ask, that's, you have this marketing firm and you really specialize in automation. So how did you get there to begin with?
Well, I'll give you the short version. So I was a speaker for years and I needed to be able to get online. Our clients were asking us to get online. So I joined a bunch of masterminds, did what everybody else does. So what did you use? Okay, great. And I created this wonderful thing that we call Frankenware. And at some point I got too busy and I asked my partner in business and pleasure, as we like to say, whether or not he would help me. Now, he happens to be a huge techie with 40 years experience of tech and building out software programs for the likes of IBM and Halliburton and like big projects, year-long,
really big ones,
like
yes.
3-year-long projects, millions of dollars. And so he took over and he said, hey, can I use this other software? I'm like, dude, you can use whatever you want as long as I don't have to touch it. Great. So he took over all my tech. I went, yay, cloud's part of the sunshine. I got to go on stage, do what I did best. And he took over my tech for me. At about that same time, he was finishing up his contracts and he's like, well, I'm kind of done with the whole politics of that. And I said, and people are asking us to do more online things. And I think we need to pivot in our messaging because it was very generalized. It was the laws of success and how we create our success, which works great face-to-face, one-on-one, but it didn't translate online. So somehow, some way we had to pivot to either here's how you grow your business or here's how you speak on stage, whatever it was. And I said, why don't we just, do the tech for people? Because clearly there's an issue with this. Clearly in all the masterminds I was in, nobody wanted to touch the tech. And I said, and they shouldn't be, because it's not the thing. They're wasting time looking for a button that they can't find for 3 days and it's stopping them from making an opt-in or it's just silly how much time they're wasting. So that's what we decided to do. We thought we'd have a lot more fun with that. And so that's what we did. And now he runs the tech side of the company. I run the creative side of the company and we have a ton of fun doing it.
Oh, I'm sure. I love how you called it Frankenware. I don't know if that's actually a real term, but I think of Frankenstein, where you have all these different systems that you're using for your business. And then you have to have all these integrations so that one talks to the other and never fails. Something, if something can blow up, it will. So you always have to kind of plan in advance, like give yourself some extra time for whatever is going to blow up. Because it absolutely will. So I love, and something else that you said too is, to make something an opt-in, as something as simple as making an opt-in it's simple for some people. And
It's
then other
really hard.
people, it'll take 3 days to do like that landing page that has an opt-in and, learn, and you're using all this brain power and you're getting frustrated and everything else that surrounds that, versus doing the things that are going to move your business forward, and move the needle forward and not give you all that frustration. So,
Right.
I know, because I'm just kind of curious. I know, like, for example, with me on LinkedIn, I get inundated with companies, marketing firms saying, hey, I can help you do this. I can automate your business. I can, do whatever. What makes you guys different than all of those guys?
Yeah, well, if the ones contacting you are anything like the ones contacting me on LinkedIn, it's like, well, if this is your idea of reaching out to people, I don't want it. I
Right?
don't want you to do that to my clients, and I don't want you representing my company. So yeah, that's totally different there. Ours is taking a step back, and we're looking at your entire business model. So we want to automate your entire business system. So it's not just, so there's business automation and marketing automation. Business automation is the big umbrella that is everything, including your finances, your operations, possibly your legal. Like, we want to integrate everything so that anything that's repetitive and menial, it should be done by a computer, because you know that it needs to get done, and it needs to get done, quote unquote, right. So that's when you want to start looking at how do you automate those systems and integrate them so that they're done properly. And that was a big issue with Frank, was he wasn't integrating properly. And as you know, so something would
You
update
actually
and all
call
of a
it
sudden the
Frank?
whole system breaks
Like
down.
your old system, did you call it Frank?
Yeah, me and Frank had a love-hate relationship.
Oh my
And
goodness, I think I'm gonna start calling mine Frank too. And I know everybody out there that's listening, that's, an entrepreneur or a small business, they're probably, and even the big businesses, because I have worked for big businesses where they have spent this enormous amount of money, and then it launches and boom, everything blows up.
Oh, yeah. I can't tell you how many times Brad has worked with companies and they've done these huge rollouts, multi-million-dollar rollouts, without testing the systems or the servers. And it's like how do you take 3 years to do something and not test along the way? It boggles my mind. And I actually did an interview yesterday with a guy who specializes in working with companies between 20 million and 100 billion. And it was kind of funny because all of the same issues were happening. They just happen on a larger scale. And so we want to make sure, and keep in mind too, like, not 10, 15 years ago, having an integrated system that was affordable to entrepreneurs under 20 million was impossible. It didn't exist. You had to have these huge database systems, and those were, $10,000 a month. There's no way we could have done it. So now the technology is there that we can do it, but it's still not something we should be doing. So we should still have a tech department taking care of it. But there's this fun thing called fractional that has come into the entrepreneurial playground, meaning that you can hire a fractional CMO, you can hire a fractional CIO, you can get the brain power in little snippets that you need depending on the size of your business, which is awesome.
Yes, I love that. I think that that's such a great option for so many small businesses out there, because exactly what you said, you can get that brain power without having to hire somebody, full time, if you're not ready for it. Depending on, which part of the organization, it might be that you need help with. So yes. And is that something, do you look at yourself in that way, your organization, is that you guys are almost part of the fractional portion of it, where, people can outsource the automation, the marketing portion of it? Or tell me what your thoughts are.
Yeah. So it's the ability, what we've done for our clients is we work with them on a long-term basis. So we don't do project work typically. And if somebody's got an exceptional, like, I just need somebody, can you do this? We will do crisis management for them, because that's just me not to. But for the most part, we want to work with our clients on a year-long basis. And the reason we do that is because we tend to do a lot of front-end work where we are strategizing with them. We are looking at their marketing. We're looking at the profitability of their products and services and how it all integrates within the system. And we will, if somebody already has a marketing department, they already have IT, that's great. We just find our little spot in between, and we will absolutely work with other teams. We love working with other teams. If somebody doesn't have other teams, we will we'll kind of be that step in. And for the most part, people's businesses are pretty predictable in that we know, if somebody's a coach and they're doing live events, we know how many events are coming up through the year. We can kind of time out how much work we have to do, and we can price that out monthly so that there's no unexpected bills. And then we triage our clients, meaning that if something comes up and they need it done now, we get it done now, because we know that once it's done, we probably won't have anything to do for 3 weeks, and then we'll have something else to do. Right. So we're not going, oh yeah, we can do that, but it's going to cost you $500. Oh yeah, we can do that image, but it's going to take you 3 weeks. It's not like that. It's because those drive me nuts and I couldn't handle them. So I didn't set up my business that way. I set it up so that we're there to support you. We're there to serve you. If we, I will go over clients' websites and just make sure that it looks presentable, it looks nice. Sometimes they'll ask me to do stuff and I'm like, okay, I wouldn't do it that way because of this, that, and the other thing. But if you really want us to, we can. But, sometimes entrepreneurs fall in love with our ideas, even if they're, not best practices. Mm-hmm. And we totally get that. And we want you to love your thing and be able to work with you to be able to get conversions and to make your products and your services work. So that's a huge difference in the industry, and certainly in marketing. They don't have the tech behind them. Even with the software companies that we're working with, usually they'll either have the marketing specialty or they'll have the tech background. They haven't figured out a way to marry the two yet.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I love how, you keep on also focusing as far as doing the work that allows the small business owner to focus on what it is that they love and that will definitely move the needle forward. And that's actually one of the questions I tell people. There's 3 questions you should be asking yourself every day. But one of the questions is what I'm doing moving the needle forward? So if it isn't, then you got to figure out, okay, can I delegate it to somebody else? Is there somebody else that is better at it than I am, or can it be automated? I think I read somewhere, it might have even been in something that you had written, that automation can 10x your profit. Tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely, it can. So let's kind of back up the bus a bit to what do you automate? Because that is a great point. Mm-hmm. And in our kind of rule, as my dad used to say, once an accident, twice is a mistake, 3 times is a habit. So as soon as you've done something 3 times and it worked, you really want to automate that, because computers systems are really good at doing the same thing over and over and over again. People don't tend to be good at doing the same. We get bored. We like it more creative. We like things a little more sloppy. And you should have your human resources doing human things, right? Being creative, having spontaneous conversations, all the fun things. And you should have computers doing the monotonous things. So where people can mess up is things as simple as, if you have a monthly membership program and somebody's credit card doesn't go through, do you have to get somebody in accounts receivable to go and call and say, hey, credit card didn't go through? 1, nobody likes making those calls, and 2, nobody likes getting those calls. Right. But we couldn't care less if we get an email saying, hey, it looks like your expiry date needs to be updated, or do you need to put this on a different credit card? Click here to go and enter that information. Nobody cares about those. They just do them, and poof, off you go to the races. We have found that right there, most companies with the memberships can 10x their accounts receivable because they don't follow up on those, which pains me. It's like 10% of your business. We've seen as high as 30% of the businesses stuck in accounts receivable. Wow. And that is painful, right? Could you imagine just not having a third of your income sitting in? It's crazy. Yeah. So that alone can do it. If you look at the deliverables of emails that you're sending out, onboarding clients is a huge one. Not only does it allow you to retain your clients longer, it gives them a better experience, and it increases their referrals within the first month of doing business with them. So just by automating your onboarding process and allowing yourself to have those unique conversations with them, it improves your business again, 10% right there.
Oh my gosh. Do you have formulas in place that you recommend for businesses to use then? Like, as you're talking about either an email sequence or onboarding, calendar invites, all that type of stuff. Tell me
Yes.
about how do you, because it sounds like, and I can see the twinkle in your eye for all you that are just listening, not watching. She's got a big twinkle in her eye. Tell me more about that.
Tell me more. So there are so many things that should be, could be, and would be automated if somebody has the wherewithal to be able to do them. So the first thing is your invitation to people that you don't know. So most people will have an opt-in or something like that. When you're looking at having a conversation with people that you haven't spoken with yet, if you have a way of talking to people at a networking event, say, that tends to get people's interest, you want to be able to translate that into a marketing campaign. So you want to have that conversation either in a video or a PDF or an infographic or something that you can put out to the world and say, hey, if you're interested in this, we've got a lot of response from it. You're going to love this. And they go and get your opt-in. A lot of companies, believe it or not, don't have those. Like it's very common in like the speaker realm. We're all very used to it, but a lot of companies like professional services or tradespeople, they don't have opt-ins, and it's kind of crazy. So being able to have those initial conversations that lead to, even if it's a discovery call or one-on-one call, and saying, hey, how can we help you? Those work awesome. So got that one. Another one is a nurture campaign. I would venture to say about 90% of people, even though they know about them, and they're going, yeah, I've been wanting to do that for 6 years and I haven't done that yet. And a nurture campaign is as easy as, who are you? What do you do? And welcome to my community. And a lot of your prospects are interested in you. They love you. They were fascinated with you, but they just weren't ready to buy from you. But that doesn't mean that they don't want to be part of your community. They don't want to still hang around with you to some extent. And to have a way for people to, either if you have a Facebook group or you have a newsletter or you have some way that you communicate with people that aren't yet buying, they want to be a part of that and they want to know how to do that. So in your nurture campaign, it's as easy as, hey, this is who we are. These are some of the things that we offer. Here's how you can join our community and hang around with us. We'd love to have you. If you have any ideas, here's how you get a hold of us. And it can be as easy as those 4 first initial emails. It doesn't have to be difficult. And then the onboarding, of course, of clients, those, if you can have a welcome email set up for them, if you can have a welcome video that you send to them, if that happens to be a spontaneous one where, like, hey, Kathy, thanks for joining us. We're super excited to have you. That's fantastic. But it doesn't even need to be that, right? You just want to know, okay, what's the process? What do you need from me? And usually everybody needs kind of the same thing from all of their high-end ticket clients. So it just makes it really easy to know, where do you store your information when you're talking to people, right? Some people will store it on a OneDrive or on the Google Drive, or they'll have calendar links that they use Google with. Whatever your system is, the more familiar they can become with that, the more kind of positioned they are to work with you because they're excited about it, right? You want to get them in that initial excitement because that's when they're happy to make a lot of changes, because change is exciting at that time. A month down the road or 3 months down the road, now change isn't as exciting as was before.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And they might get an email and go, who is this person?
Exactly. Had people do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it sounds like to me that every business owner out there should really think about, if nothing else, a small portion of their business to automate. It's probably never too soon to automate, correct? Even if you, let's say you're just starting out, should you start automating?
It depends on the structure of your business. So there are exceptions to the rule. If you want to run a coaching business and you want 10 clients at $10,000 a year, you need a cell phone and a merchant account.
Mhm.
Really, you're set. And to some extent, if you have a calendar and you have consistency in calling, so you may want to set up a plan of attack for phoning people and texting people. So in that case, your calendar or your habits become automated because on Tuesday at 2:00, that's when you do the thing, right?
Right.
So it's that idea of the more you can get familiarized with the things that are repetitive in your company, the more powerful it becomes. So to exemplify this, once you know that something works, being able to create a process that makes that repeatable, whether you're doing it, somebody else is doing it, or a computer is doing it, makes your business scalable to the point of making $1 million. And as I was discussing with my podcast guest, that's the exact same thing that makes business scalable and sellable in the billions of dollars. The
Mhm.
more you have that system in place that it works and any piece of the cog can come out and be replaced, that the system still works, that's what makes a viable business.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you. I think that, when you want something that's repeatable, and you also want it, if you want to take things off your plate,
Yes.
rather than being the jack of all trade. I mean, sometimes because I do a lot of coaching, whether it's corporate coaching or like the small business coaching, I get these calls where people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I have so much going on. And then they talk about things and I'm thinking, that is not your sweet spot. What you're talking about, the things that you have to do is not what you're really great at. So you need to somehow, whether automate it, find a VA, do something, delegate it to someone else so that you can spend your time in your sweet spot, because that's what's going to really unleash, what it is that you do.
Absolutely. And to keep in mind, most people don't feel overwhelmed when they're in their sweet spot. They can
Yes.
have more things flying at them like at rapid pace. But if that's their thing and they love doing that, they're like, yes, this is fantastic. I can do this all day. And it's like a little kid at recess. If they're the kind of kid that loves recess, awesome, they're on fire. If they're the kind of kid that loves sitting in the library and reading books all day, they're on fire. The more books, the merrier. They're happy, right? And it's understanding that even though business has basically three components, you have your marketing, your sales, and your finances, and
Mhm.
all can almost fit into those three buckets. If any one of those isn't your forte, then you want to look at, how do I get rid of it? First thing I got rid of it was bookkeeping. That is not my forte. Like, I can look at spreadsheets all day long and I love them, especially when it's money coming into my accounts. But when it comes to reconciling statements and receipts, and like, kill me now, I don't want anything to do with that.
That's
My,
exactly what I say too. I'm like, oh, please, no, kill me. I say the exact same, kill me now, because I
yeah,
don't want to do it.
yeah.
Exactly.
And that's what you want to get rid of so that you can focus in on your sweet spot. And even if business isn't your thing, but you want to be an entrepreneur and not work for somebody else, hire your boss, right? You can
Mm,
hire your CEO and
yes.
then become the person that does the thing. And it can seem like a kind of weird relationship, but if that's the place you want to be in, it works phenomenally well because they know that you just do your thing and they kind of work around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you brought up a really great point about the whole overwhelm, because there is so much of that that's going on, no matter where you are, again, what type of business it is that you have, there is that sense of overwhelm. Part of it is a mindset thing.
Yep,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
But then there's that part of, yes, you have 1,000 things on your plate that probably 900 of those you need to offload,
Yeah.
need to automate or offload it. So I'm happy that you talked about that. There is like so many questions I could ask you, because I know that a lot of people, you've perked up a lot of ears out there. So tell everyone where you can be found.
Excellent. So if you go to awareness, can I give your audience a gift? Actually, I would love to.
Oh, yes. Yes. We love free
Awesome.
gift at the Professional Rule Breaker. I love, love, love that. Yes.
Nice. So we'd love to give you a website audit. And what it does is it goes through and it scrapes your website. So it does take about 15, 20 minutes to get it back because it's actually scraping your website. And the report is about 30 to 50 pages, depending on the size of your website, that'll give you back your green lights, your yellow lights, and your red lights as far as your traffic goes from the Google gods. So Google will allow your traffic to go through if it's happy with everything that's going on your site. And yay, congratulations, you got some green lights going on. If you have yellow lights, that's where it starts to slow your traffic down. So it doesn't necessarily bring your site up to the top of the searches when it should have been because something's going on. It usually has to do with design or copy on those. And then you may have some red lights. The red lights you want to fix right away, but they usually involve some acronyms like SSLs and DMARCs and all sorts of fun things that nobody knows what's going on, which is why I also give you my link at the end of that report so you can book a call with me. I'll go through your report, explain it to you. You can take it off to your team and get them to fix all the things that need to be fixed, or we can have a longer conversation if you like, but I'm just happy to help you to get your site working because I know a lot of people put a lot of love and affection into their websites and want them to monetize. And they're just not because they don't know when Google's stopping the traffic.
Oh, absolutely. Boy, I think everybody that's listening needs to run and go to that. So tell me the web address for that.
Absolutely. So it's awarenessstrategies.com/website-audit. And it's a $500 report. And of course, you get my appointment at the end of that. So be sure to take advantage of it.
Yes, absolutely. So we will have that in the show notes for everyone. And like I said, everyone, please go. If you are having those issues where you need to automate or you have a feeling of overwhelm and you're not spending time on your, what I call my sweet spot and your sweet spot, the thing that you love to do and the thing that you are really good at, you need to check out Michelle. So thank you again for being a guest on the Professional Rule Breaker Show, because I think you have provided a ton of value.
Nice. Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Absolutely. So that wraps up my interview with Michelle Neledec. And I have to tell you, I learned some really great things. And also, she really talked about the importance of really trying to focus on what it is that you do well and automate everything else. So make sure that you check her out and do that free gift that she had mentioned in the show, and you'll find that in the show notes as well, the link to it. And if you like this podcast, be sure to give us 5 stars. And if you need some help with sales strategy, whether you're starting out and you're a go-getter, or if you already have a business and it's churning, but you need to figure out your sales and grow your sales, reach out to us at theprofessionalrulebreaker.com so that we can help you ignite your sales.